Welcome back to American Agenda. First-time unemployment claims stayed steady-ish at 751,000 last week. That is just about the same as the previous week. Joining us now to weigh in our A-plus panel for the day, editor-in-chief of HerMoney.com. That's Katherine Tuggle, and former director for the SEC Division of Investment Management, Norm Champ. Norm is also the author of the book, Mastering Money. So, Norm, I'll start with you this time. Your take on those numbers. They still are stubbornly high. And I'll ask you what this election may mean. I mean, does this make it more likely we get a stimulus package since there was no blue wave? And is that a good thing? Maybe it's not as crazy.
So these numbers look like they are still declining a little bit, but clearly the rate of decline has slowed. And that's a worry as we head into potentially more lockdowns from the virus surge. So I am concerned about sort of the flattening of it and if we get more lockdowns. Now, with the election, you saw in these last couple of days, it looks to me like there'll be a stimulus package potentially in the lame duck congressional session. Seems like both sides would have more incentive to cooperate now, given the election results.
Right.
So I'm hopeful that we'll see something after the election settles down.
Yeah, Katherine, if there is a deal, what do you think needs to be in it? I guess the impression I get is that Nancy Pelosi has lost seats in the House. I mean, she'll still have them in this lame duck session, but she's not going to get everything she wanted. It originally was like a $3 trillion plan, then down to what, $2.2 trillion, something like that?
Right. Well, Mitch McConnell has said that a new stimulus measure is the top priority when everybody comes back next week. And whoever is going to be in office is going to have to deal with America's massive unemployment problem. We had another 751,000 Americans filing jobless claims, largely unchanged from the previous weeks, which is not what we wanted to see. And the number of Americans receiving some form of assistance is 21.5 million, which is huge. Now, in terms of stimulus, the talks have been about those $1,200 checks per person, and I would still like to see some aid on the table for small businesses, which we know are hurting nationwide.
Yeah, just so people can put this in context, this is off the top of my head, Norm, but I think the height of first-time claims back during the Great Recession was 670,000 during 1 week, and it didn't stay there a long time. So there still is an underlying problem in our economy, even though the stock market's been doing okay.
That's exactly right. We have not been able to get below the 2008 global financial crisis high for unemployment, and that's a concern. I also think we're heading into the holiday season where ordinarily you get seasonal hiring for Christmas markets, shops, stores, all sorts of things. Job postings for holiday hiring are down 20% this year.
Yeah.
So we're also heading into a season that, while it often brings employment, not clear it's going to bring employment this time.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason, Katherine, maybe you can back me up or challenge it, but not only are people shopping online, but they're afraid to go out because of COVID. They don't really want to be out in public the way they were.
Right. People are afraid to go out, especially as COVID cases surge nationwide. I will challenge it just a little bit because with the move to people shopping online, what we've seen is that a lot of retailers are hiring, but they're actually hiring for remote positions. So today at HerMoney.com, we actually have a list up of 13 companies that are hiring remote seasonal positions. Are going to be the same types of things that we would have seen that would have been in shops and in boutiques, but now they're going to be remote and online. And some of those companies include Amazon, Harry & David, Minted, TaxSlayer, Williams-Sonoma, and others. So there are some opportunities out there.
Katherine, does it take a vaccine before we get back to normal?
It sure does.
Yeah.
And I hate to say
it. I know we all hate to say that, but Norm, you kind of agree with that?
I certainly do. And if you look, last month, private sector jobs, there were only about 360,000 created, way below expectations, way below September. So on the job side, it is looking a little weak.
Yeah.
We need a vaccine for people to get out there.
Yeah, and we are going to get some numbers tomorrow. Hopefully they're positive as far as new jobs come. Tuggle and Champ, thank you so much for being with us. And folks, we'll be back with more of American Agenda after this.